Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Evening Happy Hour with Back to Basics Dog Training. Cheers. Might as well do happy hour right tonight. Um, with that being said, I hope everybody's having a great week so far. I know we're in the middle of the week. We got wonderful hump day here. So weekend is coming up soon. I'm excited. We got some good things to going on. Hopefully, we got a lot of people watching us tonight and a lot of great questions coming my way. I can't wait. I'm excited to be here. So, with that being said, let's just start on a topic. As always, as anybody who knows who watches me, either here on the YouTube platform or on my Facebook platform, Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock, I always try to start with a topic, try to get people involved in the conversation. Good evening, Michelle and Athena. Michelle, I got your Facebook message earlier. I will look into that tomorrow for you. I'm not sure if we can do that. I have to find out. I'm not 100%. So, but we'll find out, and I will definitely get back to you tomorrow. I got some stuff going on in the morning, some sessions going on, so it'll probably be in the afternoon when I get back to you. So the topic tonight I'm going to talk about is predominantly energy. I've had a lot of conversations with people this week about their dogs and their behaviors and all this type of stuff and some of the unwanted behaviors that their dogs seem to be exhibiting. And I keep coming back to the same thing. It's the energy we use as humans to try to correct our dogs. What do I mean by that? As humans, we tend to get angry. We tend to get frustrated when our dogs have an unwanted behavior. Now, in reality, and I think everybody who knows me who's watching either live or on the replay understands that I relate a lot of things to human life. So I'm very transparent in what I do. I don't hold back any of my punches. I'm very, very blunt and to the point. So reality is, if we try to control another human with anger or frustration, the results are usually not good. I don't want my kids to respond to me because they're afraid of me, because I'm angry. I don't want them to do what I need them to do because, hey Jill, how are you? And how's Mikey? And of course, Archie. So again, I talk about the energy. So I don't want, like I said, my kids to respond to me out of fear because I'm angry, and I don't want them to appease me because I'm frustrated. I want them to do things because they respect me. Well, in order for them to respect me, I have to be calm when they have that unwanted behavior, be it my dogs or my kids. It's the same theory. So I preach about the energy all the time. I talk about it. Michelle, you're one of my customers. Jill, you're one of my customers. You guys know, you hear me talk about it. I probably sound like a broken freaking record. But it's real important to understand your energy is going to control more of your dog's unwanted behaviors than yelling, screaming, bitching, moaning, and groaning. And it works. The dog understands you better. So if the dog has an unwanted behavior, the dog bites me. Well, they're biting for a reason, whatever the reason may be them scared, be them aggressive, if there is such a thing. So if I get bit by a dog and I get angry at the dog is going to fight harder to try to get away from me because of the negative energy. The energy is going to make a big deal. How many of you guys out there who are watching has had incidences with people and they want that confrontation with you because that's what people are about, but if you stay calm, you avoid the confrontation. Well, you want to avoid the confrontation with your dog as well. So the calmer you stay, the less you have that confrontation. If that all makes sense, let me know, guys. Pop it in the comments. Let me know if this makes sense. And again, anybody watching this live, of course, ask your questions. Anybody who's watching this later on the replay, you can still ask your questions. I'm going to get to the questions even off the replay. Or anybody who's watching now thinks about something later on, you can come back here onto this YouTube platform and type in a comment or question, and I will get back to you. I promise you that. I try to get back to everybody. I think I've done a pretty good job between the two different platforms that we're running here. So ask the questions. That's why I'm here. I'm doing this for the love of dogs. Um, so with that being said, you can control more with your energy. When I'm at Jill's house with Archie, Archie responds to me instantly. The other night, he showed me a little bit of his zoomies that he has. He was on leash. I just picked up the leash. And as soon as I picked up the leash, he was like, okay, we're done. Why? Because I understood he's a puppy. He's going to make these mistakes. So when I picked up the leash, I wasn't angry at him for running around like a lunatic. I wanted to teach him a better way to do it. He'll get more reward for behaving than he will for not behaving. I don't need to say a word to him and when I'm doing any of this. That's the key. I think as humans, we have to understand the less said, the better when we're dealing with our dogs. Our words, our noises are confusing to the dogs. Yes, we need to do something to get their attention. So that's where the no or the nope or the hey or the whatever you're using is to get their attention, to get them to focus on you so you can tell them what you expect from them. So in Archie's case, he's running around like a lunatic in the living room. I don't want him running around the living room, especially while I'm there. The inside of the house is not playtime. By me just grabbing the leash, not saying a word to him, he's like, oh, okay, I'm not supposed to do this. I didn't say anything to him. I didn't say no. I didn't do anything. I said no once when he started the running around. And once I took the leash, he was like, oh, okay. He sat down, I praised him, and that's what he got his reward based on because he understood what I was asking without me saying a word to him. I didn't have to sit there and say, Archie, stop running around the house. You're going to destroy everything. You're going to knock everything off the table. Mikey's doing his homework. You're going to knock whatever. I didn't have a conversation with him. My energy had the conversation with him. I didn't have a verbal confrontation. Let me know if that makes sense, guys. Athena was particularly wild this morning when I took her outside, jumped on the fence and barked. I corrected her with the e-collar and she didn't seem to feel it. Did you raise up the collar? Did you make it higher till she felt it? Remember, guys, when we talk about energy, energy has a level. So, and I always use that 0 to 10 scale. It's an imaginary scale because everybody's version is different, of course, but there are two constants in 0 and 10. 0 being asleep and 10 being Satan's child. And that could be aggression, excitement. So to me, it's just a stupidity scale. So if Athena is doing this and where her normal working level with the remote is, I'm going to say 10 because I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. Okay, so it was difficult while she was biting you. Rob came out and amped it up. And what happened when he did? Did she respond to it? And did you stay calm while Rob was assisting you? Because remember, you have to stay calm. I know, guys, listen. Okay, great. So I know if a dog is mouthing me to get my attention or to be bossy or whatever it may be, the normal human thing is I'm going to get pissed. That's going to create the dog to react worse. I'm telling you. I know this. I've seen it. I've done it. I've changed my energy to try to control something with that negative energy, and I see I don't get results. So if the dog is at a level 4 on that 0 to 10 scale, your corrections have to be higher. So they have to be at a 5. Because if you're doing it at low level, when she's jumping up and doing all this crap that she does, if you're correcting at her working level, she's not going to feel it. It's no different than when I used to be, when I was younger and I get into fights. If I'm going to get into a fight, my adrenaline is pumped. So you can hit me in the face. I'm not going to feel it at that point. I'll feel it later. Why? Because my adrenaline is going. So that bam in my face didn't bother me at that particular time, unless they hit me at a higher level of intensity than I was. And if you don't do that, you're not going to fix your unwanted behaviors. The way I look at it with Athena, she's not afraid to put her mouth on you and hurt you. You have to be willing to meet her and beat her in the intensity of your correction without the anger and the frustration. I understand, guys. Dog's putting its mouth on me. It's frustrating. It's aggravating. It's my dog. I feed the dog. I can go through the whole gamut of human excuses and the conversations we have with our dogs. They don't mean anything. And Michelle, if you remember when I was there and she did that nonsense with Rob, I was very quiet when I was making my corrections. Why? Because the words at that point probably wouldn't have helped. I know they wouldn't have helped. The best way I can explain to you how the dog will revolt against negative energy is I actually worked with a customer a few years ago whose dog was attacking the TV. Every time an animal was on, it started off, it was cute. It was barking at the TV. Yay, look how cute it is. And then it took it to the next level because the dog didn't understand the concept of those animals walking off the screen. So then he started looking behind the screen and was like, where the hell are they going? So what he was doing is actually trying to stop them from leaving the screen and biting the TV. Could have been deadly to the dog. It cost a ton of money because you got to keep replacing the TVs. But so when I was called in finally after X amount of months of it doing this, I put the dog on a leash. We recorded the week prior to me coming there. I asked the customer to record the Animal Planet or Nat Geo Wild or whatever it was, and put the dog on a leash because the leash is, again, the easiest way for me to get the dog's attention and not have to play games chasing a dog. I made a correction when it went after the TV. It redirected, which is very common when you correct a dog. I won't say very common, but it's common. Where he went to go bite my leg because I got to get the thing on the TV. I can't play. Your leg is there, and he went after me. Okay, it happens. I'm aware of it. It's not an aggressive thing, but it's still unacceptable because you're using your mouth to try to control. So at that point, I was quick enough. I grabbed the dog in my hand by its neck like another dog. My hand became a mouth. I bit him. I pinned him to the ground. And he fought with me for about 30 seconds. And then he realized, oh, this is stupid. But the whole time I was pinning him, to the ground, I was having a conversation with the owner, just like you and I are talking right now. Well, actually, I'm talking, you're listening. With the same energy that I started doing the training at. I wasn't angry. I wasn't frustrated. I wasn't anything but calm. So he gave it up to me pretty quickly within 30 seconds. Then as soon as he gave it up, went back to doing the same practice, hit play again on the TV, made a correction. He didn't redirect on me, so we started breaking through the process. Same thing we did with Athena at the house. The beauty of that is, or the moral behind the story is, about a week or so later, I got a phone call from the young lady who owned the dog and saying, I've been pinning this dog down for 2 hours and it's fighting with me. It's taking everything I have. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you got to calm down. I said, you probably got, and she said, it broke another TV. She was very angry. So when she pinned the dog down, because he did try to redirect on her, she pinned him down like she was trying to push him through the floor, and she was angry. And she was, what did you do? Blah, blah. And the dog wasn't going to bite her. He was trying to get the hell away from her because her energy was so negative. He didn't want to be near her. So finally, as we're talking on the phone, she started calming down. And as she was calming down, she noticed her dog was calming down. And it was a quicker result, quicker fix for the problem. So your energy is going to make the difference. When I pin a dog down, and Jill, you were there when I had to pin Archie down because he was just a lunatic a couple weeks ago. I wasn't trying to push him through the floor to force him to the ground. I wasn't using much pressure to hurt. I wasn't using any pressure to really hurt him. But I was very assertive, but I stayed calm. And Archie responded. Now, the beauty of Archie and the progress of Archie is he has some free run of the house, supervised, because he's still a puppy, he needs to be supervised, where he's not locked in one room because of his unwanted behaviors, because Jill and Mikey and Mike are doing a phenomenal, phenomenal job at following through on things we've gone over with them. Yes, we've used tools. Yes, we started to introduce an e-collar. Are they going to use the e-collar? I'm not sure. Hopefully they don't have to. But if they do, they have it. I'm teaching them how to use it for a fix if they need to. Not saying they will. Again, the e-collar is not a tool that's going to correct an unwanted behavior. If trained right, it's to reinforce better behaviors. The good thing about it is when they're off leash, I have a way of correcting them too. So I hope this all makes sense, guys, because I'll ramble on for days. I don't see a lot of viewers here, but I don't think on YouTube I see real live viewers. So if anybody's here besides Michelle and Jill, pop me a comment. Let me know you're here. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know what you think of this format. Let me know what you want me to do differently. I know next week, for anybody who's here, we are going to do something a little different. I am actually going to do it. We're not going to say what customer yet. Everybody will be surprised, but I'm going to be doing this live feed from a customer's home. Somebody who I've worked with, and they're doing a phenomenal job. And I'm going to interview them, and I'm going to let you guys ask some questions about what we've done to help their dog. They can answer them. Of course, I can answer them. So real important. What I'm going to post out for next week's YouTube Live. I'm going to post that out there tomorrow, both on YouTube and on my Facebook page. So please share it, because this is going to be real life, guys. I try to preach to everybody that I'm a transparent trainer. I'm going to tell you what I see. I'm going to tell you how it is, and this is what it is. I'm going to be as blunt and to the point as I can be. But you know what? Me talking to you guys via this format is one thing. I'm going to praise myself. I'm going to give myself the pat on the back. I'm going to tell you I can fix your problem. Yeah, that's great. I'm a salesman. I'm selling myself. But my customer talking about it and the progress they've had, I think will go a long way. So I hope you guys really do share this out there. If you're watching it live or on the replay, it's going to be posted out there. I am actually going to try to figure out how to do it both by next week on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. I don't know if I can figure that out. That's complicated, but we're going to try to figure it out. But like I said, I'm not seeing a lot of people here. So I know Michelle and Jill are here. If you guys have any questions you want me to fine tune for you guys for some of the behaviors, definitely hit me up on it. Let me know how, I know in Michelle's case, Athena's issues were causing problems between her and Rob. How's that been going? Because it's all part of it. We all, you guys are together, and the dog shouldn't be the cause of the stress in a relationship. That's for damn sure. One of the hardest things I have when I deal with people in their homes and their families is when I first get in there. It's, I joke about it. I'm not a marriage counselor, but sometimes I have to be, because you got person A saying one thing, person B saying another thing, and it becomes a pissing contest in the house, and it's horrible. I hate it. I told you I'm going to make it real happy hour tonight, guys. Sometimes you put the e-collar up to 40 and she doesn't feel it. That's okay. It depends on her level. Always make sure the collar is tight. Oh, beautiful. You're not fighting over the dog anymore. That's what I want to hear. If you find you're at 40 and she's not really jacked up, just make sure it's still tight. Guys, remember, when you're dealing with e-collars, they got to be tight. You want good, clear contact on the neck, wherever it is, to the point where if you're going to move the collar, hopefully the skin moves, not the collar itself. It's real important, because otherwise you're not going to get good corrections. And if it's loose and all of a sudden there's pressure on it and you're at 40 and she's not really being bad and you hit it and all of a sudden it's got a good connection, it's going to freak her out, and I don't want to freak her out. So just double check the tightness on it. If you see it's not working, as long as she's not jacked up. I mean, when I made that correction, Michelle, when I was at your house and she was jumping on Rob's back, I was at about a 60, 70 maybe. I don't remember anymore. But it was that quick. And that's the key. So, one, I always say, make sure it's tight enough. Most people don't want to put it on the dog as tight as it needs to be. It's 2 points of contact. It's not, you don't want it really jabbing in, but you want it where it's making good contact. So like I said, you see how my skin's moving, not my fingers. If my fingers are moving around my neck, now I'm not making good contact. So you really, really want to make sure it's on properly. Same thing with the prong collar, or in Jill's case, the good boy collar. You want it tighter than you probably think. Like I told Jill, you're the customer. You're always right as far as I'm concerned. I would like to take a link out of Archie's prong collar. I think it's too loose on him. But again, you're not comfortable with it. So if you're not comfortable with it, you're not going to use it. And if you're not going to use it, it's wasted money. And I don't like wasting people's money. Archie is doing great. He had a little bit of a bad day Monday, but he has been great the rest of the week. Yeah, Monday I was over there. You told me he had a bad day. He kind of tested you. And here's what I'm going to tell you guys, especially when you're dealing with puppies, but it does happen with the older dogs as well. You're going to find when we're dealing with these behavioral issues that your dog is going to behave for, you're going to find all the unwanted behaviors for 2, maybe 3 weeks, sometimes perfect. And then one day they're going to test the living crap out of you. That test is the most important thing. Reason being is they're going to be like, are you seriously going to be that pack leader I need you to be? But here's the test. And if you think about it, our kids do it. Those terrible teenage years, that 15, 16, 17-ish range, they test us. All the rules that we set up for them when they were younger, they're going to see if we're serious about it. And if we're not, they are going to look at you and say, you're a joke. And they're going to take advantage of you. So on those tests, like Archie did on Monday, it was really, and I don't think I said this Monday night, it was real important that you stay actually calmer, because you're going to show them, hey, listen, I know what you're doing, kid. You're testing me here. No. I'm still in charge. Throw your punches. We're going to move forward. Stay calm, moving forward, and that's the object. So that was a test day. He did good. You did good. Mikey did good. That's fine. He's going to. He's still a puppy. We got to remember that. He's young. What is he, 6 months old, 7 months old? So he's still a real puppy. He's still learning. He's still going to test him. It's like little kids. Give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. It's okay if they test you. There's nothing wrong with it. Testing is good. We like the test because that's the opportunity. So again, you say it was a bad day. I think it was a test day. And you guys did good because now the rest of the week he's been good. I'm not saying tomorrow he's going to be perfect. But what you should start seeing is when he has these unwanted behaviors, they last less time, and your corrections, your no or your nope, they respond to quicker. It's the best way I can describe it, is they're going to test you, but the test shouldn't last as long as it did the first time they tested you. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I've seen it. I've lived with it. It does happen, and it's great because you learn how to control it. And like I said, the object of what I'm teaching is not only help you with your dogs, it's to hopefully help you guys in your everyday life. There is no reason for us to be angry or frustrated as much as we are in this world. So with that being said, we're only about 25 minutes in, but I don't see a lot of questions tonight, so we may wrap this one up early tonight. Please, like I said, guys who are listening or going to be watching this on the replay, we're doing something special next Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock. It's going to be me interviewing one of my customers. Hopefully we'll get this out to as many people as possible. I will be posting this out starting maybe tonight or tomorrow on both the YouTube channel and on my Facebook page. The more you share it, the more we get people out here, the more people ask questions, the quicker we get to my goal of helping one dog and one family at a time. It's so important to me. So I hope it's as important to me, to you guys, as it is to me. Should I stop with the treats? I'm still using them when I take her out. I would. I would stop with the treats. I'd make the treat be you being happy with what she's doing out there. If she has any unwanted behavior, well, you know what? Let's rephrase that. You can still give treats outside. Only if she doesn't have any unwanted behaviors outside. Any unwanted behavior, trying to drag you back in the house, fence fighting with the other dog or whatever, bossing you around, no treats at all that time you went out. The problem is she's so trained, and I know this because I saw her when I went there. She started sniffing my pockets like I must have had a piece of filet mignon in them. I would only, if you're going to do treats, and I really don't have a problem with it, I would only do it if you have that whatever's deemed perfect trip outside. So it may be to break her the habit of the treat and to really break her of the unwanted behaviors. Um, she does her maybe the first couple of days, just when she does her business, boom, bring her back in, give her a treat. Don't make it a long drawn out process outside. And then after a few days of doing that, make it longer and longer and longer, so she realizes that, oh wait, when I don't act like this, I get this. Absolutely, it's okay to leave the e-collar on all day. I tell people leave it on all day and charge it at night when you go to bed, like I do my phone or my watch or whatever. It can be on all day as long as you're supervised. I mean, if you're not home, I wouldn't want to see. I don't think it should be on personally, unless you have a behavior that when you come home, you have an unwanted behavior and you need a way to correct it. If that makes sense. So if say it's a dog that bum rushes you at the door when you come in, well, then I may need the e-collar on when I'm not home. I'm not big on leaving it on when I'm not around, but if you have to, you have to. I'm not big on leaving collars on in cage. Hello, cousin Sue from Florida. I'm not big on leaving collars on period in the cage. If you have to, you have to put it on in the cage. If the unwanted behavior is happening in the crate, leave it on in the crate. I mean, we have to fix the unwanted behaviors. And then remember, anytime I talk about the tools, the object of the tools is to fix, first recondition better behaviors. It's freezing. It's 35 degrees here. Can you beat that? I heard it was cold. I heard frost. There was frost in Florida today, actually. So the e-collar is to reinforce better behaviors. And Jill, like I talked to you and Mikey about it, and Mike, I don't want to use it as a punishment tool only. It's first to reinforce good behavior. So what do we teach? Sit, calm, whatever. First. Hopefully then we layer into corrective 55. Oh, come on, 55. I woke up, it was 28. Stop. You forgot what it's like to be up here in New York in December. So the e-collar is a layering tool. The object is to stop the unwanted behaviors, guys. That's reality. So if Athena misbehaves, just say in the crate, well, in the beginning, I'm going to need the collar on her in the crate because I can make my corrections easier. Eventually, the goal is we don't need the e-collar. Depending on the dog's real bad, unwanted behavior, and here's where I would say it would be on. Dog is overly excited by food, human food, dog food, whatever food. If you turn your back on it and there's food on the coffee table and the food would be gone if you turn your back on the dog, okay, we can work on that behavior. That's an easy enough behavior to fix. But if I'm having a whole bunch of people over and there's going to be food all over the place and there's going to be that more excitement level because of the issue with having more people there, which of course naturally brings more excitement, the dog may have some of those unwanted behaviors again. If I have my remote collar on him, I can make a correction from a distance. I don't have to be on top of the dog or lock the dog up or tether the dog to me or anything. That's the object. I always say, to me, an e-collar is like having a leash that's a half a mile long. How cool would that be without the damn rope? It's a much, much better thing. If you can make a correction on a leash, you can make a correction with an e-collar. And it's not, again, there are different variations of e-collars. There are such things called shock collars. They are barbaric. They are I don't like them. I felt them. They suck. The people that have them that are out here watching me, the ones I use are literally stim collars. They feel like if I went to the physical therapist and at the end of my treatment, they give me that TENS unit. That's what it feels like. Doesn't hurt. If this was vodka, I'd be fun by now. So again, don't be afraid. If Athena's not responding at 40 and it's on right and it's tight and everything is working well, that means she's too jacked up. Go higher. Don't look at the numbers. Guys, I tell you all the time, when you deal with e-collars, the only number you give a crap about is that low level that we figure out. Other than that, don't even look at it. And I've told people before, if you turn it up, before you even look at the number, turn it back down to 0, and then go back to your working level. So you don't have to look at the number that you may have used that, because that number will scare the crap out of most people. It's just what it is, because we look at the numbers and say, oh my God. But if we went up to that number, there's a reason we went up to that number. It wasn't just because we wanted to see the reaction of the dog. Hopefully that's why I talk about humane way of doing things. You know, I'm not going to just put an e-collar on a dog and hit it at the highest setting just to see the dog's reaction. That's animal abuse. I don't care if it's a stem collar or shock collar. That's animal abuse. Dog's doing nothing wrong, and I'm giving it a stem. That's wrong. So again, don't look at the numbers. If you have to turn it up, turn it up. Just turn it down to 0 once you get to the behavior you want and go back to your working level. Stop looking at the damn number. That number, like I said, will scare the crap out of you. And I know, because when I first started doing it, I looked at the numbers and it scared the crap out of me, you know, until I really felt it. I mean, I'm the only idiot that I know of out there that has had it on himself at the highest setting. And I hit it that quick and I didn't like it at all. It sucked. It did not feel good. But I've only had to use that 2 or 3 times on dogs, and both of those dogs was to save their lives or save a human's life. So it was necessary to do what I needed to do. But I felt it before the dog did. And I'll tell you now, it was really, really uncomfortable. It wasn't fun, but I had to feel it before I can say I can do this to any of the dogs that I work with. So again, but what do I tell Michelle and Jill? You both know I say that tool should do the yelling. That tool should get angry for you. That tool should get frustrated for you, because you can't get angry and frustrated. If you get angry or frustrated, it's not going to work. I know, Cousin Sue, you were talking about your dog resource guarding on our Facebook Live of certain objects, and you know, it could have been a Tasmanian devil situation when you try to get it away. I'm hoping some of the stuff. Rob doesn't think it's effective until she gives a little yelp. The yelp, again, guys, dogs yelp doesn't mean you hurt the dog. I don't necessarily agree with Rob's theory on that, but if that's what he's finding, she yelps and she stops, that's fine. A one-time yelp is you caught her off guard, and yeah. The one-time yelp is you caught her off guard. Your correction timing is actually pretty good. I've gotten a dog to yelp, and this isn't anything than a correction with a regular martingale style collar, but my correction was timed so perfectly. The dog yelped because I caught them off guard, and they're like, "Whoa, what was that?" Calm down, sit, whatever. Michelle, you got to use the tool for how it was designed. If she is willing to jump on you and hurt you, you have to be willing to make your correction be meaningful enough for her to freaking stop. I know you don't want to. You love her, and I love every dog I work with. But I know those unwanted behaviors could lead to some serious, serious problems. We think she's surprised, not really. She is surprised. She's like, what the hell is that? But that's when you get that yelp is when you need to follow through. Calmer. Sit, stop, stay, no, whatever the case may be. Then you lower it right away. Because the correction is literally that quick. You're not sitting there at 100 and holding that button in. No, you're going boom, that quick. The more consistent you and Rob stay with this, the quicker this whole process goes. Would this work if she's overly corrected? Well, would this work if he's overly corrected, he pees? Submissive pee? Scared? Guys, if the dog is peeing when you correct them, they're usually either submissive or scared. I got news for you. Most of the time when people are correcting their dogs and the dog pees, the dog is scared because we're doing it with that anger and the frustration I talk about all the time. Instead of just being that no nonsense. No, I don't need to explain to you why you shouldn't resource guard the toilet paper, but you're not allowed to. But if you play the game and you get angry, yes, they're gonna submissively plead. I mean, with the collar would definitely work. There's nothing wrong with an e-collar, but you first have to teach good behaviors. I don't recommend e-collars to just about to everybody until I know the dog understands one primary thing. They have to have leash manners. Yes, it works for guarding. I've done it for resource guarding. But I condition them first. I don't use an e-collar just to punish or disagree or discipline a dog. First, I'm going to teach a better behavior. So what do I do? I'm working with Jill and Mikey right now, and I told Mikey before we start doing the e-collar, you got to teach Archie leash pressure. What do I mean by leash pressure? When I ask the dog to do something when they're on a leash, if I ask them to sit, I pick up the leash a little bit, put a little bit of pressure towards their rear end on the leash so it's up and back. As soon as that butt hits the ground, I release that pressure. If I'm working with a dog on recall, the come command, I let them get 5 feet ahead of me on the leash. I call them, I put pressure on the leash, bring them back to me. As soon as they start walking back to me, I release that pressure. That's what I mean by leash pressure. That's where that low level that I talk about when I talk about low level stim on the dog is to reinforce the same behavior as that pressure on the leash. The beauty of the e-collar is if they have that unwanted behavior, we can say no without having a leash on them, but they have to first understand leash pressure. So what I would say, Sue, is even though he knows sit, he knows stay, he knows down, he knows place, he knows heel, great. You didn't say come there. You didn't say he knows when you call him to come. Even though he knows those behaviors, reinforce them with the leash in the beginning for now. Then you can graduate to the e-collar, but you want to reinforce first. Every time he feels something like this on his neck to do something, you're asking him to do something, low pressure on the neck, that, oh, I feel this, I got you. Oh, I heard the word sit, I better sit. Oh, I heard the word come, I better come. Whatever it may be. Every time he feels this pressure when he's on the leash, he feels that he knows he has to do something. Now we can start layering in a low level stim. Archie's low level is what I figured out the other day, 8, I think, 8 out of 100. I put it on there, you don't feel it. Guys, it feels like a little tingle. So I would do with your dog, start working leash pressure. Your dog's a small dog, so I would look at the e-collar technologies. They have a micro educator, I think it's called. I mean, I definitely Facebook message me and I'll get it back to you, the right one. He sits when there's pressure. Good. So just reinforce that. Then you can start layering in the e-collar correction, working with the e-collar. And so, it's working levels 8. So you can, shoot me a thing. We'll set up a Zoom. I'll go over all this with you, your family. I'm going to help you. So you got to get me that, Facebook message me or your email address. I'll set up the Zoom one day this week, if that's good for you. And I can then tell you which collar I would recommend buying. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be in Florida in the near future to work with you, but we can do a lot with the Zoom. Zoom has helped me immensely. I don't know how you guys feel about Zoom. I know that's how the world is going, but I've done training sessions on it. I think it's great. So again, don't be afraid of the tools, guys. If the tools are used right, they're not going to hurt your dog. If you buy quality tools, if you buy shit tools, you're going to get the result, So there's nothing wrong with it. And remember, I'm going to preach this again. Next week is going to be an exciting week. I'm excited about it. It's going to be a live Q&A session, but with me asking questions of one of my customers live and in living color. She was gracious enough to say I can put her on camera. I even went out and bought another camera so we can both be sitting there and try to keep to some sort of social distancing. Otherwise, we're going to have to wear our masks. But this is going to be exciting because now you're going to hear it not from me, from a customer. And I think, guys, that's the best way to do this because this process works. It's not an overnight success. I wish I could tell you it's an overnight success, but it's not. It's a process like anything else. If you take the time and you stay consistent, it works. Michelle with Athena, please, don't be afraid of the tool. If you have to crank it up, crank it up. Rob's right. Just don't abuse it. You're not going to crank it up unless you need to. But if she's doing things to you you don't like, you have to be willing to do something that makes her uncomfortable. You have to. Make it uncomfortable for her to even think that you're a chew toy. You're not a chew toy. Toilet paper, is not something a dog should be digesting. We need to correct that unwanted behavior. I just decided, because I may have to order an extra remote. We are still working on getting out of the house without her attacking us. What's the best way to fix this with the collar? So when you go to walk out the house and you guys are leaving, you're going shopping or whatever, she doesn't want you to leave. So what I would do, and I know she's very good with her place command, is 10, 15 minutes before you leave, send her to place. She's not allowed out of that place, off that place, while you guys are in that house, unless you give her permission. And then don't rush around trying to get out. Take your time. Everything's about energy, and rushing around is a horrible energy. Right before you leave, you make sure she's in her place. Good girl, stay. If good girl's her release, don't use it. Just walk out the door. You have your remote with you. If she gets up, nope, place. Do that 100 times. Do it 100 times. Do it 100 times. Till she understands, oh, I'm not allowed to do this anymore. But you don't have to. You could just use it as part of everyday conditioning. Dogs should not be attacking you when you go to leave the house. So you got to do this without really having to be any place at a specific time, because it may take you an hour to get out of the house. But every time the dogs react when people leave, be it separation anxiety, trying to bite my ankles not to let me out of the house or whatever. The place command is the command you want to use. Go to your place. But again, you can't put a dog in place and run around like a lunatic trying to get out of the house because, oh my God, I got to get somewhere. Because that energy is just going to be like, the dog's going to be like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? No, you have to stay calm, because that's energy. What do we start today's YouTube live with? Talking about energy. The calmer you stay, you'll see these results fix. So if Athena was in my house and she tried this crap with me, first thing I would do is reinforce the place command, and then I would leave for 2 minutes, come back in, praise her for staying in place, or even if she didn't, but I praise her for not going after me. But if she got up when I started walking out, nope. With the red button, which is the FU button in my world. That's how I would do it. Utilize the place command. She's very good at the place. Utilize the place command. That's the best way I can describe it. And I would just constantly work on that. And I would be using that as a tool to success, where I would practice that as much as I say practice threshold management for the walks. Practice that. If that's an issue, you can't leave your house without getting your tuchus bit. Teach her a different way to do it. She has to be in place when you leave. And everything has to be calm. But you can't walk out of your house looking over your shoulder. What's she doing? What's she doing? What's she doing? Walk out like you own the damn place. You hear her get up, you can make a correction. Hopefully that makes sense. I got the okay, so I'm assuming that means it's okay. That was a great question, actually. I kind of like that one. That one got my juices going. Thank you. I needed that tonight. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know if next week, because next week we're doing the Q&A with the customer. I know I'm probably going to have to order an extra remote for Michelle, and maybe I'll order an e-collar for myself. So next time I'm doing this, when I'm just me, maybe I can actually show you guys the e-collar on me. I'll put it on me. I don't care, because I know it doesn't hurt. I'm not going to put it up at 100. Good evening, Jennifer. How long does it generally take before they start realizing that you want what you want with what you want? Again, it's hard to say. It's every dog's an individual. Again, I would definitely work the pressure release now before we get the e-collar in. Work that pressure. Sit, boom, sit, boom, sit, boom. I'm going to go over this more in detail when I bring it over. Before we start utilizing it. Then also, because I know you're doing the walks and you're making some of the leash corrections in the house and on the walk, he understands what the correction is. Then we're going to layer it in with the correction, with the stim correction, with the leash correction, and it all plays into effect. I have some dogs that I've done it where they get it instantly. And then I have some dogs that are a little bit more stubborn. It takes a couple more, days or weeks or whatever. So it's really hard for me to put time frames on any of this, guys. It also depends on how consistent you're using. And now I'm going to pick on Michelle a little bit. Rob's trying to use it one way. She's using it another way. That's going to take a longer process. So there's ways to do it. And I do tell anybody who is using an e-collar, I don't care if you purchased it from me and used it, or anybody who's watching, if you have questions, you're not sure about it, I'd rather see them in the comments. Let me help guide you to use it properly. They're not bad tools, the better quality ones. And there's only two brands that I like, and I'll tell you now, e-collar Technology and Dogtra. The only reason I don't go to Dogtra is I don't like the feeling of the remote in my hand. But they're stimulus collars, they're not shock collars. So, it's hard to say how long anything I talk about, I don't know how long it's going to take. I wish I could tell you. I'd ask for a lot more money. Because it all depends on the dog, and it all depends on how consistent everybody stays with it. And everybody who's involved with the training or the life of the dog has to be involved one way or another. I deal with houses with little kids. And, as hard as it is for me to say, because who the hell am I to talk to anybody or tell anybody how to parent their kids? But if your kids are running around like a lunatic and you want to know why your dog is biting their ankles, there's a damn good reason why. Control your kids. You stop the behavior of the dog. But it's about setting rules, both for the humans and for the dogs. Once we establish the rules are the rules, and everybody stays consistent enforcing the rules, these behaviors disappear. Mikey is doing a phenomenal job. He really is. I can't say it enough. I praise him up and down every time I get an opportunity, even when I talk to other people. He's doing a phenomenal job, and he's helping his mom now. And she's doing a better job. She's getting there. I know, Jill, you'll get there. I know it. Use Mikey, let the children be the teacher this time. That's okay. He's doing a great job. His energy is spot on. He's to me, I mean, he's a mini me with some of his energy. I love it. And Archie is responding better to him because he is being that calm, assertive pack leader. He says no. Archie's like, okie dokie, you mean it. I'm not messing with you. And believe me, Archie's not afraid of Mikey. Archie's not afraid of me. I disciplined Archie last week, and he laid down by my feet, and he gave me kisses and all that type of stuff. So I don't think he's afraid of me. And that's what the object is, guys. They need the rules. They need the structure. They need the discipline. Discipline equals love. If you use a tool to do it, that's fine, as long as you don't abuse the tool and you buy quality tools. I always tell people, you can go to Harbor Freight and buy a Sawzall for $29.99 or $39.99. Or you can go to a real tool store and buy a Sawzall for $129.99. That $129.99 will demo a house. That $29 one's not going to finish that whole house. It's just not going to happen. You get what you pay for. There are times to be more economically efficient and you spend less money. I bought a $29.99 or $39.99 Sawzall from Harbor Freight. Why? Because I'm not demoing a house. I needed it for a specific thing. If it blows up after I finish my job, I can care less. But when it comes to tools I'm going to use on my dog, or tools I use every day or use more often in my house, I do tend to buy the quality because, one, it lasts longer and you get better results. So don't be afraid of the tools, guys. Let's use them right. I will this week order a collar for me to do demos with on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and I'll do a quick YouTube video on the collar so you guys get a better idea. The reason we want to train is for safety. If she decides to attack me we each need one of us to stop it. Absolutely. And I understand that. She's not going to attack you. She's feeding off your energy. I saw that when I was there. But again, I think we can do this. I know we can have one remote work two collars. I don't know about two remotes working one collar. I think you can. I think I remember reading about that somewhere. I just don't want to guess at this process. So I want to make sure, but I think we can. And if that's the case, I'll order it up. I'll probably have that shipped directly to you and then we'll do a Zoom or something so we can program it together. Because I think it can be programmed to do that. I just want to make sure. I don't like opening my mouth and inserting my foot. I just want to make sure. Matter of fact, tonight I may just go online and do my research on it, since this is the last thing I have to do tonight. And it's better than watching TV. Watching dog training videos are so much better than watching TV today. So with that all being said, guys, you're doing a phenomenal job. I appreciate everybody who's here watching me. Remember, please share this with your friends. Now I see my number counters going up, so I'm hoping more people are joining and ready to ask questions before I wrap it up. So if you got your questions, type quickly, guys. Remember, share this with your friends, share this with your family around the country, around the world. Share Back to Basics with your friends and family around the world via either YouTube or on Facebook. We bring this content to you for the sheer fact that me, my family love dogs. We want to help one dog and one family at a time. This is a true passion of ours. And hopefully it's helping you guys. And if it's helping you, imagine if we get it out to more and more people. And I ask every week for people to share it. So I hope you guys are. I will be posting out next week's YouTube tonight. I decided now I'm going to do it tonight. I will post it on my Facebook page. So if you guys, please, if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button here. If you haven't liked my Back to Basics dog training page, please make sure you select like or follow or whatever the hell it's called, so you get notifications when I do post new things. And we try to keep this as relevant as possible to help you guys, to help everybody. With that being said, guys, if there's no other questions out there for me, we're going to wrap it up. And as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for attending. Stay healthy, stay safe. God bless. And remember, together we can help one dog and one family at a time. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. And anybody who follows me on Saturday, we'll see you Saturday morning at 11 o'clock on Facebook for Coffee with Back to Basics. Have a good night, guys. Thank you for joining.